Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Western adventures we head not far from where I was born and raised, Dodge City, Kansas. An episode of Gunsmoke starring William Conrad as Marshal Matt Dillon. Many of you have been saying, where are the Gunsmokes? Where are the Gunsmokes? Well, here, try this one. This goes back to March 27th, 1954. The episode is entitled Blood Money.
Around Dodge City and in the territory on West, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and a smell of gun smoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad. The story of the violence that moved west with young America. The story of a man who moved with it. Matt Dillon, United States Marshal.
I'm that dry I could fair spit cotton, Mr. Dillon.
Oh, you can fill up at the Olive Braganza when we get back to Dodge, Chester.
Yes, sir. But right now, I'd settle for a drink of water.
You can't be that thirsty.
I'm about to stampede. You think there might be a spring in that clump of elder up ahead?
Yeah, there might.
I swear next time I'm going to carry a water bag.
And keep it wrapped in your pillow, I suppose, huh? You know, Chester, town life has made you mighty soft.
That's far enough.
Well,
He's got a rifle, Mr. Dillon.
yeah.
Who are you men?
We're looking for water. Is there a spring in there?
I said, who are you? What's your name?
Matt Dillon?
And I'm Chester Proudfoot.
You don't worry me. And I never heard of no Dillon.
Well, then you shouldn't mind if we got a little water.
Okay. But you'll have to drop them gun belts first. One at a time.
Sorry.
You heard me.
You can't shoot both of us, mister.
Who is it, Harp?
One of them's called Dillon.
Dillon? From Dodge?
You from Dodge?
Yeah?
That's what he says.
Well, bring him in here. He'll help us. He's a U.S. Marshal.
A marshal?
That's right, Harp. And instead of us standing here about to shoot each other, why don't you tell me why you need help?
I'm Joe Harp, Marshal.
Okay, Harp. Who's your friend?
Harry Speener.
I never heard of him either. What's the matter? Has he been shot or something?
I busted his leg.
Oh. Well, there's a doctor in Dodge.
I can't get him there alone.
Well, we'll help you. If you'll put that rifle down.
Well, okay. I found him lying out there on the prairie this morning. Horse throwed him and I drug him into the shade here.
You mean you're not traveling with him?
No, I just stopped to help.
Are you really Marshal Dillon?
I am. But, I don't remember you.
I ain't never been to Dodge. I heard your name, though.
You live around here, Speener?
No, I've been working in a saloon down in Tascosa. Wanted to change, so I bought me a horse and rode north. But I shouldn't have come alone. I don't know nothing about horses. I hate them.
Well, we better get you into Dodge.
I suppose you aim to drag me to Dodge. Well, I've been drug as far as I'm gonna be.
Well, I had to get you out of the sun, Speener.
You was mighty rough about it.
Why, he saved your life, mister.
Why shouldn't he save my life?
Well, of all the ungrateful, mean-tempered
He's
people
been
I
like
ever...
that all day, but I figure it's 'cause his leg hurts him.
Of course it hurts.
I busted mine once. I know what it feels like. Poor fella.
You want to help get him into Dodge, Harp, or you want to keep going?
No, Marshal. I'd kind of like to see Dodge anyway.
Okay, then let's get busy. Luckily, Speener had broken only one bone in his leg, and after we rigged up a splint for it, we managed to get him mounted. It was night before we reached Dodge, but by the time he got there, he was too weak to complain. Anyway, I was more interested in Joe Harp, but all I could find out was that he was a cowboy, drifting aimlessly through the country like so many of his kind. He said he had a little money from his last job, and that's why he'd been so wary of strangers. And he seemed honest enough. As 6 weeks later, he was still in Dodge, gambling some, and making friends with most everybody in town. Doc and I were talking about him one day in the office.
Do you know what he did, Matt, about 3 or 4 weeks ago?
What, Doc?
Why, he came and offered to pay Speener's bill. He said the poor fellow wouldn't be able to work for some time. As long as he'd saved him, he felt he ought to help take care of him.
Oh, did you take his money?
I did not. Speener can pay me himself. And he'd better get to work soon, too, because he's already walking around without a cane.
I take it you don't like Speener much, Doc.
Oh, right. Do you?
Well, nobody does that I know of.
I don't believe he's even thanked Joe Harp for saving his life, man. Oh, well, it's...
Santa Fe just come in with the mail, Mr. Dillon. Hello, Doc.
Hello, Chester. Oh, say, that brown envelope looks official.
It is. You want to open it now, Mr. Dillon?
Yeah, I better. It might have my paycheck in it.
Here you are.
Thanks. No check. Just some new wanted circulars. What?
What is it?
Here, have a look, Chester.
Oh, my goodness. Look at that, Doc.
Huh? Let me see this. What does it say? Wanted, dead or alive. Reward $500 for bank robbery and murder while escaping. Joseph Harp. Joseph Harp. Age 32, sandy hair, 6 feet tall, blue eyes.
That's him, all right.
Signed by the sheriff, city of Denver, Colorado Territory. You gonna arrest him, Matt?
Can't you pretend you didn't get it or something, Mr. Dillon?
You can stay here if you like, Chester.
Oh, no, sir. I didn't mean that.
All right, then you take the Alafraganza, the Longhorn, and the Oasis. I'll look in his boarding house at the edge of town, then I'll come back to the Texas Trail. Meet me there, if you see him first.
Yes, sir.
All right, get moving. Kitty.
You look like you've been eating cockleburrs, Matt.
I don't see Joe Harp around anywhere, Kitty.
He left. Why?
Has Chester got here yet?
No. Is it trouble of some kind, Matt?
I'm after Harp, Kitty. How long ago did he leave?
Well, just a little while ago. He was over there gambling, as usual, and then that Speener came running in and said something to him, and they both left.
Speener?
Somebody ought to take him out and bury him somewhere.
Well, I couldn't find him nowheres, Mr. Dillon. Hello, Miss Kitty.
Chester, what's this all about, anyway?
Harp's wanted for murder.
For murder? Joe Harp?
That's just what Speener said when I told him. He just couldn't believe it.
You told Speener, Chester?
Why, yes, sir. I ran into him, and I...
Go get our horses, Chester. I'll pick up the rifles. And hurry. They've had time to get out of town already.
Dillon.
What?
I guess I just wasn't thinking when I told Speener about Joe Harp. I didn't know he was going to run off and warn him.
Next time I'll send you out with a potato rammed in your mouth.
Yes, sir. Oh, I feel so bad. I wish you would.
Oh, forget it, Chester. At least it shows Speener isn't as bad as we all thought. I guess he was just waiting for a chance to do Harp a real good turn.
Well, he sure did it.
Hold it up a minute.
Huh? Ho.
Look.
Hello!
Well, it's Speener, Mr. Dillon. He's got his hands up.
Yeah. Come on. Get your rifle out, Chester, and keep your eyes open.
Yes, sir.
Now, don't shoot, Marshal. I ain't done nothing.
Where's Harp?
He's in that drawer behind me.
Any tricks and you'll die, Speener.
I ain't no outlaw. And Harp ain't gonna pull no tricks neither. You just follow me, Marshal.
I swear I don't understand this at all, Mr. Dillon.
Just follow him, Chester.
Yes, sir. There's his horse.
Yeah. And there he is.
Well, he's been hurt.
He sure has.
Oh. Well, there's your man, Marshal.
Did you do this, Speener?
I tried to talk him into giving himself up, but he wouldn't listen. And then he tried to draw on me.
Speener, I can tell from here the way he's lying that you shot him in the back.
What difference it make? He's an outlaw, ain't he?
Yeah. $500 worth of outlaw, Speener. If you live to collect it.
March 27th, 1954, Gunsmoke on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more of Gunsmoke, March 27th, 1954.
We buried Joe Harp on the prairie where he'd been killed, and then rode back to Dodge. That night I wrote out a wire to the sheriff in Denver, claiming the reward for Harry Speener. Then I showed it to Speener and told him to keep it quiet, and also to stay out of my sight. And he did. And about a week later, I had to send Chester to find him and bring him into the office.
Here he is, Mr. Dillon.
Come over here, Speener.
I've been waiting like you said, Marshal. I ain't talked to nobody.
I had a wire from Denver this afternoon, Speener. Everything's all right. The money will be here in another week or so.
Oh. I thought it'd come now.
There it is.
But I thought you said it wasn't here yet.
I'm paying you out of government funds.
Oh. Well, that's fine.
Yeah, I didn't think you'd mind very much how you got the money.
Now, Marshal, I only done my
Count
duty.
it, Speener.
Well, that's all right. I'm sure it's all here, Marshal.
Count it, I said.
Yes, sir. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You satisfied?
500, that's right.
Speener, nobody knows about this yet. They think I killed Joe Harp. But before they learn who did and how it was done, I advise you to clear out of Dodge and stay out.
Why? I didn't do nothing
Tell
wrong.
me something, Speener. Is Harp the first man you've killed?
Of course he is.
Well, there are men around here who've killed 10 or a dozen and think nothing of it. But I won't guarantee how they're going to take to your having killed one man.
They can't do nothing about it. It was plumb legal.
Yeah. Yeah, it was legal.
I earned this money, and before I leave Dodge, I'm going to double it gambling. And there ain't nobody going to stop me.
Okay, Speener. I warned you.
I'm going to get rich, Marshal. I'll show 'em. Real rich.
Get out of here.
I'm going.
Sit down, Matt.
Oh, thanks, Kitty.
Drink?
No, thanks.
Speener was in.
Oh, is that so?
He left, though. They closed the game on him when he started bragging about how he got his money.
I kind of figured they might.
Why'd you keep it such a secret, Matt? What were you protecting him for, that milk-livered little sneak?
Now, the law doesn't separate people that way, Kitty. But now that he's been paid and he's been warned about what might happen, he's on his own.
Well, I hope somebody does shoot him. Just think, Matt, it was Joe Harp who saved his life.
I'd have caught Harp anyway, Kitty.
I know. Somehow that's different.
Yeah, that's a lot different. You know, Kitty, that's a pretty dress you're wearing.
Close your eyes, Matt.
What?
Close them. Go on.
Well, okay. What's this for?
Now, tell me what color this dress is.
Well, it's,
It's blue, Matt.
blue, sure. I was just about to say that it
I
is.
know. Speaking of colors, look what's coming.
What? Oh, it's Speener. Well, nobody's shot him yet.
It's never too late.
Marshal Dillon?
Yeah.
Marshal, I just tried to buy a drink over at the Alfregan.
And they wouldn't serve you. Good.
I'm not talking to you. Marshal, 2 men threatened to kill me right there at the bar.
Now, that's funny.
What do you mean?
Well, most men around here don't waste much time on threats.
Marshal, I demand protection. And I won't spend the night hiding in jail either.
Okay.
Then you'll come with me?
No.
What?
I can't protect you any more than I have already, Speener. But I'll tell you one thing. If you take off your gun, nobody can claim self-defense for shooting you, and I'll have to go after them. If that's any satisfaction for you.
Marshal, I'm a citizen, and I demand...
Get out of town, Speener. Get out now.
Mr. Dillon?
Yeah?
Could you lend me $1? I went broke last night.
Gambling, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right. Here you are, Chester.
Thank you.
Hey, wait a minute. You told me you swore off gambling a week ago. You even took an oath.
I did. I sure did.
Well, then how come you went broke gambling last night?
No, sir. I said I went broke, and you said gambling? And I said, yes, sir, but I didn't say I was gambling.
Chester, keep the dollar. Just go spend it somewhere.
Yes, sir, but you don't understand. You see, I've got it all figured out. I swore off gambling, all right, so what I do now is to hire a fella, and I give him the money, then he goes and sits in a game for me, you see.
Dillon.
Oh, hello, Clay.
Marshal, my horse come back.
What horse?
The one Speener bought off me when he left town.
Well, Speener's been gone 5 days, Clay.
I know. But my horse come back, Marshal. Alone.
Saddled?
Yes, sir. But it ain't my saddle. It's Speener's.
That means somebody must have caught up with him, Mr. Dillon.
All right, we'll start looking for him.
I can tell you where to look, Marshal.
What?
That horse has got red mud all over his legs. There's only one place I know where he'd get into red mud around here.
Now, that watering hole, Granby Springs, huh?
That's right, Marshal. Say, do I get to keep the horse now?
I don't know, Clay. I'll tell you when I get back.
You know, I just had a thought, Mr. Dillon.
What, Chester?
Well, Granby Springs is only 30 miles. Speener must have made it easy the first morning he left.
So?
So, if he was killed there, how come nobody ain't found him and reported it yet?
I don't know, Chester.
March 27th, 1954, Gunsmoke on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. The conclusion follows these messages from your favorite radio station. Just when you thought it couldn't get any better, Mike Lindell and MyPillow launching the MyPillow 2.0. Now, when Mike invented MyPillow, it had everything you could want in a pillow. Now, nearly 20 years later, he's discovered a new technology that makes MyPillow even better. Of course, the patented adjustable fill of the original MyPillow, but now with brand new fabric with a temperature-regulating thread, it's the softest, smoothest, and coolest pillow you'll ever own. Say goodbye to tossing and turning and flipping your pillow over in the middle of the night. And more great news on the MyPillow 2.0 buy one, get one free offer with my promo code Wyatt. MyPillow 2.0 is 100% made in the USA, 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio podcast square to receive the MyPillow 2.0 buy one, get one free offer. Use my promo code Wyatt or call 1-800-928-4715. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of Gunsmoke, Blood Money, from March 27th, 1954.
There it is, right over there. We'll soon find out.
Yes. That's him, Mr. Dillon. He sure looks dead.
Yeah.
I don't see no bullet hole.
No. Hey, he's still breathing, Chester. Go fill up your hat and throw some water on him, huh?
Yes, sir.
Speener. Hey, Speener. Speener. Can you hear me? Oh, pour a little on his head, Chester. Maybe that'll do it.
That enough?
Marshal.
Yeah. What happened, Speener? What's the matter? What happened?
Horse kicked me in the belly. Busted me up inside. I hate horses.
Oh, when did this happen?
First day. I got off to get me a drink here. I hung on to the reins till yesterday. But I was too weak.
Mr. Dillon.
What?
There's fresh tracks all around here. Not just them made by that horse of his, neither.
Sure, there's fresh tracks. Why, 3 or 4 men been by here.
3 or 4 men?
They just sat and looked at me, Marshal. They didn't say nothing. Just sat and looked at me, and then they rode off. Every one of them.
They seen who it was, Mr. Dillon. That's what.
Yeah.
It's too late now, Marshal. I'm gonna die.
We'll try to get you back, Speener.
No. It's too...
He's dead, Chester.
Yes, sir. He wasn't as lucky as when he busted his leg, was he? But you'd think one of them riders might have helped him.
Except for us, I guess there isn't a man in the country who'd have helped him this time, Chester.
Gunsmoke, under the direction of Norman Macdonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Tonight's story was specially written for Gunsmoke by John Meston, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Featured in the cast were Harry Bartell, James Nusser, and John Daner. Parley Bear is Chester, Howard McNear is Doc, and Georgia Ellis is Kitty.
And from March 27th, 1954, Gunsmoke on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now part 2 of the 5-part Yours Truly Johnny Dollar story, The Lamarr Matter. This episode originally broadcast on March 27th, 1956.
From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Johnny Dollar.
I have your party in Hartford, Connecticut now, Mr. Dollar.
Oh, thanks.
Just a moment, please.
Hello, McCracken, Universal Adjustment Bureau.
Hi, Pat.
Johnny, are you still in La Jolla? Didn't you get my telegram?
Sure did. And I'm getting ready to leave for South Bend right now. In the company of a beautiful, charming, lovely...
Now, look, son, your vacation is over.
Charming, lovely girl named Vonnie Lamarr.
Okay. Now, will you... What?
That's right. Thomas Rene Lamarr's daughter.
Does she know her father has died?
Telegram for her arrived at the same time I received yours.
You didn't show her my wire.
No. She doesn't know yet that you think it might be murder.
Tonight and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the Universal Adjustment Bureau, Hartford, Connecticut. Attention, Mr. Patrick McCracken. Following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Lamarr Matter. Or was it murder? Expense account item 1. I'm calling it item 1, Pat, because it's really the first tab on the Lamarr case. Previous expenses here in La Jolla were charged against the Jolly Roger case. Expenses for the vacation you promised me and have now so rudely interrupted. Item 1, $9.60 for that long-distance call to Pat McCracken in Hartford.
Now, what under the sun is Vonnie Lamarr doing in La Jolla?
Vacation? Same as I was trying to take. Now, tell me something, Pat. Has a claim already been filed on Lamarr's $1.5 million policy?
No claim has been filed.
Well, then how'd you know about his death so quickly?
Luck, pure and simple. Insurance company is Tri-Mutual. Big office in Chicago, headed up by Lawrence Comstock.
Oh, sure. Known him for years. Good man.
Well, he's written all of Lamarr's policies himself. He got to know the old man pretty well.
Uh-huh.
Personal friends, you know. Weekend golf together, same clubs, and both nuts about two-handed pinochle.
So?
Well, Comstock had been Lamarr's house guest the past few days, and been with him practically every minute the old man wasn't at his plant.
Was he actually there when Lamarr died?
Yes. He was the one who called the doctor when the old man keeled over.
Look, you keep referring to him as the old man. Just how old was he?
Oh, not too. Let me see. I've got it. He was 59.
The doctor's name on her telegram was Wilson. You know his first name?
No, I don't know. That stuff you'll have to get from Comstock there in South Bend.
Okay.
Well, at any rate, Johnny, he called me the minute the doctor pronounced Lamarr dead, and specifically asked that you be put on the case.
Yeah, well, that's flattering. Okay, it looks like I am, but tell me something.
Yeah?
What makes Larry think the man was murdered?
I'd rather not discuss it now. He'll give it to you when you see him.
Our plane leaves in about an hour.
No doubt you can be of some comfort to the daughter. Her knowing that you're handling the case.
Pat, that's the one thing I don't want her to know. I hung up, leaving Pat to ponder over that last remark. Wired Larry Comstock that I was coming and finished my packing for the trip back east. When I'd finished, I paid my bill at the fancy motel, and all I can say is thank goodness it was on expense account. And I knocked on the door of the cottage next to mine.
Yes, come in. Oh, Johnny.
Hi, Vonnie. Any way I can help you?
More than you have. You've been wonderful. Arranging the flight back for me.
For us.
Taking care of the things here. Johnny.
That's right, for us. I'm making the trip with you.
But I thought you said Hartford, Connecticut. And your vacation.
Oh, the vacation's all over. Wouldn't be any fun for me to stay around after this.
Oh, darling.
And South Bend is along the way. I'd feel better if I kind of took you home rather than let you make the long trip alone under the circumstances. Maybe I have some business or something to attend to there.
Darling, I don't know what...
Easy, honey.
Okay, you made it so wonderful. When Daddy couldn't get here these last few days, and now that this terrible thing has happened, you stick by me this way.
It's the only way I'd have it.
You're so wonderful.
All right. Come on now. Come on, get your things together. I've called for a cab to the airport in San Diego. Come on, Mom.
Oh, thank you, Johnny. I love you for this.
Sure. I can't say I exactly relish thoughts of the flight back east, much as I hoped I could be of some small comfort to the girl, much as I genuinely wanted to. Such things can be pretty rough, particularly in this instance. But I am an insurance investigator, and in a matter of this sort, $1.5 million at stake, the possibility of murder, well, it's up to me to suspect everyone, whether I like it or not. Yeah, I sometimes think it's a pretty rotten racket to be in.
Johnny.
Sleep, honey. Sleep. You'll need all of it you can get before you have to face things at home.
I wasn't sleeping. I was just thinking. And being so thankful that you're here with me.
Honey, I wired ahead for a hotel reservation.
What?
Yep. I'm going to stay in South Bend a few days.
You wonderful.
No, I'm going to be honest with you. I also wired a friend of mine, a fellow with whom I do business now and then. So well, anyhow, I'll be there for a few days and maybe more, and as long as I can be of any help to you.
It's funny.
Hmm?
You know, you still haven't told me what you do.
Well, don't worry about that now.
But I'm curious. Tell me. It'll give us something to talk about.
Did you wire anyone at your home about your arrival?
Yes, Harrison the butler. Johnny.
Well, how about the doctor who telegraphed you?
Yes, Dr. Wilson, too. Honey.
Wilson.
Edward T. Wilson. Now tell me.
No. Now you stop talking and try to get some rest.
But all...
I'm going back to the lounge in the tail section so that you'll have nothing to do but get some sleep.
Then you won't tell me.
No. Tomorrow. Sleep.
Thank you, Johnny. Now I can, maybe.
Yeah, rough. Very rough. I felt like a traitor to her. Well, we landed in Chicago at 10 a.m. and took a cab from the airport to the Lamarr home on the outskirts of South Bend. I'd never before realized that the big industrial city with all its huge, dirty, sprawling factories had such a wealthy residential section. And the Lamarr home on Parody Lane was one of the most impressive of all, set far back in what must have been an acre of well-kept lawn. In addition to Harrison, the butler, we were met at the door by the housekeeper, cook, upstairs and downstairs maids, and a couple of other servants, all of them obviously in deep sorrow over the passing of the master of the house.
And may I most humbly, for all of us, express our deepest sympathy in this hour of this...
It's all... Thank you, Harrison. Thank you all. I'm going to my room and we'll call you when...
Yes, miss?
This is Mr. Dollar.
Mr. Dollar.
He's to be admitted to the house. Any time
I'll be here, Vonnie, as soon as possible. And you know where to reach me.
Yes, Johnny. Thank you.
And now to get to work, whether I liked it or not. I took the cab to the townhouse, dumped my bags, then back to Chicago in the office of Lawrence Comstock, Tri-Mutual's representative. He was waiting for me.
Well, Johnny, you sure walked into something this time.
Thick one, Larry?
You don't know. You don't know the half of it. The $1.5 million of it.
You gave Pat McCracken back in Hartford the idea that Lamar's death might be murder.
I think it is. I really think it is, Johnny.
Why?
Tom Lamarr was one of the best friends I ever had.
He should have been. Your commission on the insurance he was carrying was enough to set you up for life.
Oh, no, Johnny, don't talk like that. Tom was a good friend of mine, quite aside from business. I sold him his very first policy years ago, and he was just a bookkeeper for Atlas Processing Company, earning $70 a week. And when he married Delise...
Delise?
That's his wife, who died 5 years ago.
Oh.
That policy was only for $2,500, straight life.
So?
Well, you know how little my commission was on that. But I liked him. I saw that he had a spark about him, that with the proper kind of encouragement, he could go places. And he did.
Yeah, so I understand. I understand the Lamarr Metal Products is a really big thing.
General Metal Fabricators just bought them out.
Oh?
Yes, and Tom was getting all ready to retire. Spend the rest of his days having fun, golf, fishing, winters in California, and summers in Minnesota, that sort of thing. And taking care of Vonnie, his adopted daughter.
Yeah. Kind of worth taking care of, too.
Eh?
I know her, Larry. Met her in La Jolla, California.
Oh, then you...
Brought her back here to face the sad fact of her father's death.
Why didn't... Oh, yes, of course. The family doctor, Ed Wilson. I should have realized. He sent a telegram to Vonnie to the same place you were, in La Jolla. She's a wonderful girl, John.
You're telling me. But, Larry...
Yes?
Something you told Pat McCracken back in Hartford has led him to think that possibly Thomas Lamarr was murdered.
Johnny, in the years I've known Tom Lamarr...
Yeah?
I've not only known him, but I've known his family.
Well?
And much of his affairs, personal as well as business.
Well?
His wife, Delise. I would have married her long ago if I'd been able.
Oh, get to the point, Larry.
Oh, yes, of course. And his daughter, Vonnie. I wish she'd been my daughter, my child.
Come on, Larry, come on, get at it.
She's a wonderful girl.
You said that.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, there were things in her past, Vonnie's past, that even her mother and later her father didn't know about. But I did.
For heaven's sake, man, get to the point.
You too?
Yes, me too. Yeah, me. The confirmed bachelor. Take him or leave him. Have fun. Forget him. Make a big... Come on, Larry.
Listen, Johnny. Now listen carefully. Dr. E.T. Wilson, Ed Wilson, an old friend of mine as well as Tom.
Yes?
It was Ed who made the last insurance examination 4 months ago. Thomas Rene Lamarr was in better health than you are. After all, he was only 59, and he'd lived a careful life, taking good care of himself.
Well, go on.
We were sure of his physical condition, sure of it. That's why I let him add to his already large policy.
Larry... You've told Pat McCracken, and you've admitted to me that you think Thomas Lamarr was murdered.
Yes, John. Because of one man.
Who?
The one man who shared his confidences, business and personal.
Yeah?
Who was closer to him than even Ed Wilson or me.
Well, who?
One man who alone could be sure of benefiting by Tom Lamar's death.
Oh, look, Larry, that bush you're beating around is getting bigger and bigger.
It's so simple, John, so discouragingly simple.
All right, Larry, all right. Take it any way you like. I'm here for 2 reasons. Because I'm assigned to this case, and because of Vonnie.
Yes, I know.
Now, who is it you suspect?
The man Vonnie is really in love with.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Johnny.
Now, here's our star to tell you about tomorrow's intriguing episode of this week's story.
Tomorrow, some stuff I didn't want to hear, but I had to. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. It is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone, who also wrote tonight's story. Be sure to join us tomorrow night, same time and station, for the next exciting episode of Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Roy Rowan speaking.
Man, that hits hard, doesn't it? Someone you think you care for and they care for you and all that, and it turns out that there's somebody else in the middle of everything. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, March 27th, 1956. That's only part 2. It gets much more interesting as we go along here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank our friend Ted at RadioMemories.com for all of his assistance in production of this program. RadioMemories.com. Check it out, and he supplies shows on cassette and CD. Not a lot of places do that anymore. That's at RadioMemories.com. My webpage is classicradio.stream. Classicradio.stream. Stream our shows. Learn about building a classic radio collection. You can contact me, find our social media links, and you can buy me a coffee. That Buy Me a Coffee money helps us acquire additional classic radio collections and helps us maintain our distribution channels. That's at classicradio.stream. All righty, have yourself a great day. Tell all your friends the greatest radio shows of all time are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.